Former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher paid a visit to Indiana today. Invited by DePauw University as a guest lecturer, Mrs. Thatcher discussed her views on world politics as the 20th century comes to a close. Cameras and microphones were not permitted to record the speech, in which Mrs. Thatcher applauded the defeat of communism. She called on Western countries to provide economic support to the emerging republics of the former Soviet Union, and Mrs. Thatcher scolded Americans for feeling threatened economically by Japan.
He was saying that we should be proud, even though that Japan does excel in a few different things. The United States excels across the board, and to be confident and proud in the future. I think that's really important.
Mrs. Thatcher is touring the United States to encourage excellence in youth.
A bit of British history paid a visit to Indiana today as Margaret Thatcher came to DePauw University in Greencastle. And as News 8's Neal Moore reports, the woman often referred to as the Iron Lady had some hard advice for Americans.
While not exactly Big Ben, perhaps the bell tower at DePauw University made Margaret Thatcher feel right at home. The former British Prime Minister was invited here as a guest lecturer, but her talk to students and faculty went unrecorded. At Thatcher's request, cameras were not allowed in the Lilly Center.
Any comment at all, Mr. Thatcher?
Yes, we did comment.
But post-speech reaction to Thatcher's talk was as crisp as her proper British personality.
From the moment I received the invitation to come, I cried. I was so happy that I could come see her.
I am British. I loathe the woman. She said absolutely nothing of relevance to anything.
Great Britain's only female prime minister confined her talk to politics, discussing the fall of communism and the heroics of Mikhail Gorbachev. Thatcher called Gorbachev a visionary who escalated Soviet freedoms by returning fundamental rights to citizens. She also noted that attempts to take land by force, as Argentina tried with the Falkland Islands, is an idea that no longer works. And Thatcher added that fascism, from Hitler to Saddam, had to be crushed to preserve Western ideals.
I've always admired Mrs. Thatcher's intellectual strength. I always like her witty responses, and I've always been impressed by her. Maybe I'm biased.
But it was Mrs. Thatcher's comments about U.S.-Japanese economic competition that elicited the greatest crowd response. Twice she was interrupted by applause as she told the audience that the United States need not worry about Japan.
Saying that we should be proud, even though that Japan does excel in a few different things. The United States excels across the board, and to be confident and proud in the future. I think that's really important.
But not everyone was impressed.
There were many issues that she really could have spoken on. I didn't think this was useful in any way at all.
That notwithstanding, Thatcher's U.S. tour to promote excellence in youth continues tomorrow in Alabama. At DePauw University, Neal Moore, Wish TV, News 8.
And Mrs. Thatcher is also establishing a foundation to assist Soviet youth to learn the function of a free enterprise system.